Hello, everybody. My name is Kushan Hopkins. I'm an instructional technology specialist from Oklahoma Public School Resource Center, and today I'm here to talk about Edublogs, a fun little blogging tool that I think can be used to promote literacy. Before I jump into that, I just want to give my colleague an opportunity to introduce himself. He's joining us in this Tech Talk.
Hello, I'm Kurt Bernhardt. I'm the Director of Technology here at OPSRC. And Kushan and I make up the tech team here. If you have any technology needs, you can certainly reach out to us and we're here to help.
Yep. And a good way to do that is through the email I got going on here, techteam@opsrc.net. That'll shoot me and Kurt a nice little email, and we'll try to get back to you as soon as we can. If you're here in the live session or you want access to the slides, one way to do it is through this link over here. I'll copy it and also read it out since it's case sensitive. So lowercase t period ly / lowercase s 0 lowercase r uppercase y. Additionally, if you're viewing this later or through the recording, you can go to opsrc.net /TechTalks. Through there, you can see our upcoming Tech Talks. You can register for those. We got quite a bit. We're doing kind of like a literacy section this time. You can take a look. You can suggest a future tech topic or tool, or you can look through our archive Tech Talks. I've done things from technology standards to integration models to some special interest topics that I've done before, to a bunch of individual tech tools. And so I've already done tons of that, and each one of them comes with a video and a presentation side. And you can even see that I've talked about a book reader, because like every once in a while, I feel like some tools deserve a sequel where I talk about some more updates or things I wasn't able to touch the first time, or sometimes I'll just feel like some of them needs updates because, you know, technology is changing all the time. With that, I just want to show you what Edublogs is capable of. There's a good example of it over here done by I hope I'm pronouncing this right, so I'm sorry if I'm not, Jarupa Hills High School photography class. There is a main blog on here, so I'm going to click on this, which is kind of the main. You can think about this as like sort of the main page to the other blogs, and you can see that there are student blogs on the right-hand side over here that you can access here too. And so, yeah. You can click on any one of these. This is structured like a photography class going on here. But yeah, all students will have access to this main page where you can put things like your syllabus, assignments, the galleries on here. But if you want to go further into that, you can go on the right-hand side and let's click one of these. Let's go to Danielle's photos. And from here, you can see, you know, they got a nice little banner with an image. They have their individual blog post on here. And on the right-hand side, you have like an about me page or just recent comments on here. And all of this is dated and put in order. And you can see that if you go to different blogs, you have different options to like the way they look, from the way that they're structured around, to some having like little navigation bars at the top, to how the archives are structured around. So you do have quite a bit of power in going in and making some adjustments here. And so that's what I want to try to help you get to, is having access to that. At the top over here, I always want to make sure everybody's very clear on what we're going to go over. So a little bit on an objective and a schedule, as I usually do for my Tech Talks. After this Tech Talk, educators will be able to integrate Edublogs in their classroom to help students achieve their learning goals and boost their literacy, trying to keep the student focused no matter what tool that I go over here. I just want to make sure that you have at least an idea of how to put this tool in the student's hands, so that way they can be more active in the way that they learn, and they can take full advantage of what is possible with the tools here. For this Tech Talk, just the basic schedule here. I'm going to start with the tool overview and do a showcase of the tool, just answer a few questions about the tool and show you how to get into it, the first couple steps there. So majority of the time will be spent on that. Then I'll spend a little bit of time talking about integrating technology. I'll try to provide some kind of framework or guidance on how to use your technology to the fullest potential. And then I'm going to take those first two steps combine them together and talk about tool applications. During that time, and you can also do this while we're going through the showcase part of it, but I'm going to invite you to just take a moment and visualize what this tool would look like in your classroom, what kind of applications that you could take a look at it. And I'll try to give some suggestions on how to make that happen. And then finally, we'll wrap things up. I'll share some resources. I'll say thank you a bunch of times, and yeah, go about your day. And I highly recommend that you take any of those resources and share them amongst your colleagues as well. So that is how we're going to do this. And yeah, let's not waste any time. We're going to start with some Edublogs overview. First of all, simple definition: an educational blogging tool. It does come with a free account. Of course, it has those ones where you can pay extra to get some premium features on here, but for the most part, which is one of the reasons why I like the tool, it has a good chunk of the features, like the main parts of the tool itself is available. There's some other nice to have stuff in the premium version. And if you are interested, you can invest in it. But for the most part, you could get your free account, get yourself sign up, create student blogs as well, or have the students create their own blogs through the free accounts as well, and have all that stuff connected together. Couple of features to point out here. First of all, simple block design. You don't have to know any programming. You just have to understand how the blocks are created, which is shown in a bit. You can directly embed media in here. So if you want to put in, videos, audios, images, any of that stuff, real easy to do through the block design. There's 1 GB of free storage. Of course, you can pay to increase that, but for the most part, you can put a lot of stuff in-house in the blog, which is quite nice because then the blogs can exist sort of in their own little region over there without, images being blocked or something disconnecting with something else. It's nice that there's at least a limited storage space on there. 1 GB will get you pretty far. Next, student management and monitoring features through My Class. So My Class is a very specific section where you create your classroom, and then you add student accounts into it, or students use a code or follow some directions on how to add themselves kind of under you as a student on there. So quite nice that there's all of that. And you can also do things like approving comments. And so it is a little bit limited since it's a free account on that, but the fact that it still exists in there is pretty nice. And as far as resources are concerned, and I've also linked this on the resource page on the slides, there's some free self-paced courses for educators and students. So there's a lot of stuff that kind of takes the training. You can take the training out of your hands and just refer students to some of these self-guided resources. So, which I think is good because it makes Edublogs accessible, even if you're teaching using this as a remote learning tool as well. You can just say, hey, here's these courses, just follow the videos, and then do assessments by having them actually create things. So it's quite nice that a lot of that stuff is already created for you. And of course, you can access it through edublogs.org. That is where our showcase is going to start. So let's jump in there, edublogs.org. Spend a little bit of time in there, and yeah, we'll have a good time. Okay, once we are here, honestly, the best place to start is if you go to the top right-hand corner and click sign up. Now, on some of the other tools that I've done, I said you can log in through Google, and you can do that, but you do need to go through the sign up process first, regardless how you want to jump in there. So there's a username, here's a password. You say whether you're an educator account or student account, you drop your email in there, your site name, your site title, which you can change. You can actually change your site title and your site URL as well later, which is kind of nice. And then the usual agree to terms of service. And, if you want tips by email, that's great, and proving you're not a robot. So at least going through that first step, quite easy. Everything is on the same page. You can always change that later on. So I'm going to fast forward through this part since I already have an account, and just click login, jump in there. Additionally, if you also have Clever, you can use that to log in as well. But let me jump into my main blog here. Cool. So this is my blog. It's really messy because I was just playing around to figure out how to talk about it. But I mean, for the most part, this is what a very basic blog looks like. We have the post on the left. Each post is dated. You can edit it directly from here, or you can take a look at the comments. And on the right-hand side, you have navigation bars to recent posts, recent comments, archived post by months, and categories if you create that out. Now, where this gets a little bit more robust is if I go to the top left-hand corner and go over where it says My Sites, and click on that. It will take me to this dashboard view. So right now I see multiple sites because I've already set up my classroom here. My main blog that I'm part of, the one that says K-Hop Tech Talks, is my main blog. So that's where this is my classroom. And then these other blogs that I'm seeing here are my student blogs that I can jump into. So yeah, this is my dashboard where I can see a bunch of the views from here. I'm going to go over here and you can see on the left-hand side where you can access, it's kind of like your quick access to a bunch of different parts of my blogs. But I'm going to start with something very simple, and which is taking a look at, let's go into appearance here. I'm going to go to appearance. I'm going to go where it says themes, the very first option in that. And this will let me change the look and feel of my blog. And it's kind of nice because you're able to change it on the fly on here. And so there, right now I'm using this active theme, but maybe I just want to scroll through tons of little options that I can go through, all of it in ABC order on here. But if I wanted to change it to, I don't know, this corpus one, that seems nice. I can click on live theme details and take a look at it. Some things that's really nice is put these themes are also organized in categories, so you'll get an idea if these are like mobile friendly, if these have sliders on them. It's real nice to have just an idea of what this looks like. And I can even click on where it says live preview and see what will this do to my blog on here. Now, I can't quite customize it. I believe that is a feature for premium on here, but at the very least, you have an idea of what this looks like and how it will impact your blog before you dump it in there. Now, if this is something you're cool with, you're going, okay, cool. I love the look on this. It has this kind of like nice, warm feeling to it. I can go up to the top left-hand corner and click activate and publish. I probably need to refresh here, but it is published. So next time I go to my blog, yeah, well, let me go directly to it. I'm going to go to the top left-hand corner where it says K-Hop Tech Talks, click on visit site, and there we go. So cool. Got a nice little theme going on here. Very nice. And I can try editing this stuff a bit later. But that is what my blog looks like at the moment. Okay, let's say, for example, I have a good theme for my blog. I want to start putting content in there. I can do so by going to the top left-hand corner and clicking on where it says new. I can say post or media, link, page, user, any of that. I'm going to just put a simple post in here so you can see a couple of the features. One thing that is kind of nice in here is that if this is the first time that you've done this, or it will give you little tool tips on how to create and use the block editor on here. It just gives you a couple of tool tips so you're not completely lost while you're in here. And if you want to, you can click on the last page, you can click on here's a detailed guide, and it gives you an idea of how the editor works. And you'll see WordPress on here. These sites are powered by WordPress too. So if you're familiar with that, then you'll be familiar with this. But yeah, we have your block space on the left-hand side on here. And I can click into any of the space. I can give this a title. So I'll say, I don't know, day one reflection. And then type something in here. Cool. Now, if I want to add more in this, because this is just a heading, I'm going to go to the top left-hand corner and click on this big blue plus sign. This is where you can make a lot of the magic happen. And this is one of the things I think is going to be really appealing about creating an Edublock, is just how easy it is to add content in there. So right now, it's just a text block. On here, we have a bunch of text blocks that we could potentially use. You know, if I want to jump in and do just kind of a list, like a little bullet list of what I've done in here, I can drag and drop into that space. And now I got a list, A, B, C. I can maybe chronicle what I was doing that day. Or maybe I want to do in a line of code or something like that one. So I can dump that in there. And I'm not even going to pretend that I can do this code, but yeah, you can add some of that in there if you want to use some HTML. Additionally, you don't have to necessarily go up to the top left-hand corner button to dump blocks in there. You can do /, and if you already know exactly what you want, like so if you want to throw a button in here, you can type that out. So if you're already familiar with the tool, there's some kind of like quick shortcuts that you can use, which is really cool. Additionally, there's the plus button that is in the line itself. It is a tad limited on here, but if you search exactly for what you want, you'll get the same features as it would if you clicked on the top left-hand corner and adjusted that. So loads of options there. So those are some options for text. Taking a look at the media, we can do things like images. So if I want to dump that block in there, I have a space for my image, and then I can directly upload something. I can pull something from my library. Let's see if I got something on the, I'm pretty sure. Oh no, I cleaned it out. Yeah, usually I have stuff. I think I cleaned up my my list that just has stuff in it. Let's do this bear drawing that somebody drew of me. That's pretty good, but real easy. Like it just uploaded that, and now that is stored in there quite nicely. And one thing that's kind of nice is that I can select this object, and on the right hand side you can make some adjustments on there. So on the fly context editing, which is really great. Real nice visual. What you see is what you get. So I can change this from default to rounded option on there. Well, it won't show up very well on the image since it's on a blank page, but you can adjust the size a little bit. You can make it medium. You could make it a thumbnail size, or you could scale this up if you want to, or adjust the image dimensions. There's even some advanced options in there if you want to, if you're familiar with CSS. And so there's a couple of different ways that you can interact with this. You can turn this into buttons by clicking insert link and then having it go somewhere else. So there's lots of little options that you can use on here. And if you don't like where any of this stuff is if you click on whatever the item is, like if you don't like the order, there's the move up and down buttons on here, which is quite nice. That you can click on that, or you can click on the two vertical line dot on here, and it turns into a little button that you can drag up and down and adjust the order of any of the items on here. So pretty nice. Now, this doesn't give you, you do have to do quite a bit more work if you want to make some adjustments horizontal wise, but keep in mind this vertical design on here, make sure that your blogs are accessible even on mobile devices and iPads and things like that, like stuff that doesn't have a whole lot of real estate going horizontally. So do keep that in mind, how accessible this stuff can be, even though the options to change it will be limited. Let's see, what else we got that's worth talking about? Now you can do videos. Okay, one thing that kind of stood out to me, because I've actually done other tech talks on like website creation tools, and I think I did one on Blogger as well. But the fact that there's just design elements that are already built in here that are quite easily used and customizable is really awesome. Like for example, if you just need some buttons at the bottom of your page, click, hold, dump that space in there. And then I can click where it says add text. I'll say video 1 on here. Then I'm going to take that button, click the link, and then like I'll dump like a YouTube video in there or something like that. So real easy stuff. And then if I want another button, I just click that plus button, and there we go. We got 2 buttons going on here, and then button 3 if I want to make some adjustments on there, and so forth and so forth. If I want to put an outline on it, I could, so you can adjust the settings on the right-hand side. So if the black button's not doing it for you, you can adjust the text, the text color, the background color. It's It's quite easy to do. All you have to do is make those changes on the right-hand side and make sure that you're selecting the right option. So real cool that you have a bunch of that design elements already built in there. And there's quite a bit. There's columns, there's groupings, there's page breaks, there's website logos, there's all sorts of stuff that you can use right on the fly. And if you scroll down, there's widgets. So if you want to slap a calendar in there, yeah, totally, you can do that. You can add an RSS feed. You can add social media icons, all this stuff, real easy. I just click, hold, dump in there, ripped and ready for me to use at a moment's notice. So real nice. And there's even other tools for embedding as well. If I want to take a Twitter URL, dump it in there, I can do that. You can take YouTube videos, dump that space in there, and everything is already embedded on there. And so there's tons of options on things that are already put in there. There's TikTok. If I want to embed a specific TikTok video, you can do that. Not a problem. Lots of options. So quite cool that you have all of this. And once I feel like this is ready, I can go to the top right-hand corner and click on Publish. And it will guide you through, by default, you can disable this if you want to, but by default, it'll walk you through visibility options. So like, for example, the very first option says visibility. If I publish this, then it's available to anybody that has access to the blog. Or if I just want this to only be available to admins, I can do this. Or if you want to password protect stuff, that's fine too. Now, there's no way for them to hide stuff from you as the teacher if this blog is put under a classroom. But yeah, there's some options on there available to the author. Additionally, you can schedule out publishing things. So it's really nice if you want students to if they want to work ahead or something like that, or you want them to do regularly scheduled updates, you can have them schedule this stuff out, which is great. And you can even add tags on here so that students have their own kind of categorization system built on there. But once all this stuff is ready, you go to the top right-hand corner and click Publish. Once you do that, it'll let you know, give you confirmation that this post is live. It'll even give an address specific to that post, which let's visit it for a moment. Let's see what we got here. Cool. And then of course, error, because I didn't put any URLs in there. But this is great. This is what it's going to look like to the viewer. And if I want to, I can click leave a reply or go to the bottom and type in a comment on here. So nice post. I loved the bear picture. Yeah, something like that. And then click post comment. Looking great. And there's the comment down over there. Okay. So there is posting the picture on there. Just real quick, I'm going to show you, because I don't think I can go through the whole classroom process, but I can go to the top left-hand corner and click on My Sites. And one thing I definitely want to point out here is where it says My Class. If you click on that, it's not showing it for the first time over here because I already have a class. But whenever you go over My Class for the first time, the only option is to create a class, and you can walk yourself through the process on doing that on here. Something that I've added in my resources is a step-by-step guide on doing some of that. And through the resources, it'll guide you through taking a look and seeing how your classes are going to be used and how to set up blogs and all that. But once you do that, creating a blog is you can do it either one of two ways for your students. You can either go over to where it says My Class and then click on Create Student Users and then create it directly through here. You do have to give them, not student users, although you can do that. But where it says Create Student Blogs, that's what you want. Because when you click on the plus sign for Add New Student Blog on here, you can give them a username. You can drop an email, but that is optional. You can give them a password, although they can change it, which is just fine because if they forget that password, there's a way to reset that. By default, the blog URL will be their username, and their title they can always change as well. So you can give it kind of like a simple name on there. I do have a recommendation on here. If you do create a username, try to be careful on what information you use. Like you want it easy enough that the student will remember, but you don't want it to be like a personally identifying information and things. So what I ended up doing was using like a first name and then the first part of the last initial and then like the year. I'm sure there are other ways that you can make this easy for security and privacy wise. So do keep that, be aware of that. Okay, winding down on time a little bit on here. Yeah, so with that, I'm going to take a break from the showcase on here. If you have any other questions, let me know, particularly if you're going to look at the resources, something I didn't touch on, like being able to create your class. If you do need additional guidance, feel free to email me. Email the tech team or take a look at the resources. I think there's a lot of stuff that's already really good at it. And also I think the process is pretty straightforward as well. But if you do any questions, you need some more guidance, there's ways to do it. But with that, I'm going to try to close out the Tech Talks through talking about integrating technology. There's lots of different ways to do it. I'm going to showcase one way, which is through the technology integration matrix. The basic idea is that if you're going to use a technology tool, you need to have some kind of plan for it, like how it's going to be used, what kind of effects do you expect to have it, what kind of activities, what way do you expect that students are going to interact with this tool. According to the technology integration matrix, there's 5 different characteristics that you can take a look at and 5 different levels that you can take those characteristics. The following characteristics would be active, collaborative, constructive, authentic, and goal-directed. And what I'm going to do is take one of those characteristics and go through an activity called moving up a level. The idea is that you take a look at the level that you're at for that one characteristic and see what the next steps would look like. Like try to plan on activities, resources, anything that would support moving up from one level to the next. So just kind of illustrate that with the time I do have. I'm going to do it with the authentic characteristic, which that is characterized as linking learning to the world beyond the instructional setting. And I think that fits with Edublogs in particular because, students are putting this blog out. Yes, I think it's good for them. I think it's a great like a journaling tool, but sometimes I think it's a great tool as well to just kind of like put your thoughts out there and have people comment back and just like being able to build, build some thoughts, put that stuff out, putting it in, communicating in a clear and concise way that expresses the way that you feel. And so I think thinking through this authentic piece is going to get you a lot of value out of Edublogs. So like, for example, the first technology integration level in the matrix is entry, which is characterized by passive use. So students are simply gaining information without having to do all that much. So in this case, there's lots of resources. So like, for example, you could share a self-paced course with them, some instructional videos, or you could show them blog examples on how other people are using them. And I've included a lot of that in the resource page if you want to take a look. But once you have students' idea on how these Edublogs are going to be used, I recommend that you take them up to the adoption level here, which is characterized by procedural use of the tool. So in this case, you put it in the students' hands and now students are kind of doing some of the basic functions. They're creating a post, they're adding blocks in, they're putting content in there, they're getting used to they're playing around with the tool and getting used to what's possible out there, which is, I think, a good phase on like building confidence in your students and trying to see like which ones are turning into experts and which one of them need a little bit more help than the other ones. And then next level would be the adaption level of technology integration. So this is characterized by independent use of the tool. So this is where students are starting to make decisions and teachers starting to back up a little bit and saying, okay, I'm giving them a task here. I'm letting students make the decisions here on what things will look like, how the task is going to be accomplished. So you give them something like a collection of reflection posts to do. They have to do at least one post or 2 posts every week, or 1 post every week or something like that. Like you give them a time frame for them to work, give them some constraints, give them a target to shoot for and say, okay, I need you to have at least these things in your post, go for it. And in this case, if you want to make this more authentic to them, have them connect what they're learning in the classroom to some sort of career in there. Just have them like type in, I don't know, like a minimum of like a paragraph or something of like what they learned in their unit to some kind of career that they're interested in. Have them do a bit of research in there. So those are some applications I think, are worth taking a look at. And you might find a different way to use these tools. It's very versatile and very flexible in terms of what you can do with it. So hopefully at least this has gotten the brain flowing on what this might look like in your classroom or even somebody else's classroom. But let's wrap this up. First of all, thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen, and everybody else. Thank you so much for listening to me talk about Edublogs. I hope this tool is worth your time listening about. And who knows, you might have a colleague in there that will absolutely thrive with this tool. So share these things out, not only this tech talk, but these slides. They contain this slide about the goodies. So anything that you need as far as resources for Edublogs, it's done a pretty good job in making sure all that stuff is available and free. So take a look. I've added a lot of stuff in here. I do want to point out this lovely little workbook that they have on here. That's an 11-step workbook that basically starts you from, getting a teacher account to making sure that your students are connected on there. So really, really nice. And it talks about PD credit on here. So this might be worth your time if this tool is even remotely interesting to you. Next page is dedicated to technology integration. I didn't showcase the technology integration matrix because honestly, it's like my favorite one, but there are other ones out there and standards for you to take a look at. So highly recommend that you take a look at TPAC and ISTE standards on their good stuff. And then finally, on my last page, of course, big, huge thank you for anybody involved. You, the viewer, Kurt's over here. Thank you so much, Kurt. I've been Kashawn Hopkins. I do have a link to my evaluation on there. If you did, even if you listen to the recording later, you can please still take a moment to do this. This link works as far as I know at the time of the recording. It still works. So, and it won't take you that long. It's a few questions, about a minute or so long. I try to make it real simple, and I would love to hear what you have to say. Don't forget, reach out to us at techteam@opsrc.net. Or if you want to take a look at any other tech talks I've done, take a look at opsrc.net/tech talks. And if you want to let other people know how much you enjoyed this stuff, do so through the socials. We got all the buttons down over here, so you can reach out to that. Even on the bottom right-hand corner, if you want to go to the OPSRC website, the banner is also a button as well. So keep that in mind. Anyways, I got to go for now. But one last thank you and have a great day.